Next up, we're going to bring Gary Flinn, coming up with a history lesson.
Yeah.
Ooh, watch out. They paint them black.
This is another piece that was originally published in the Flint Journal, this one from February of 2009. And hopefully next month the new broadside will be out so I can do a read-along, pass along issues of broadside for everyone to read along while I read the story. This story from the Flint Journal has to do with Victor Wouk's 1972 Buick Skylark prototype, which helped him become the godfather of the hybrid electric car. Prius Shemias. You want a pioneering gasoline electric hybrid vehicle? Look no further than engineer Victor Wouk's Buick Skylark from 35 years ago. Yes, 3 decades before hybrid cars became commercially available, a prototype hybrid car was built in 1973 utilizing a 4-door 72 Skylark. The car had excellent gasoline mileage, greatly surpassed 1976 emission standards, and had a top speed of 80 miles per hour. Then, you like Darth Vader music, an Environmental Protection Agency administrator canceled the project. Hybrid power rooted in Buick Skylark? It all started with Wouk, brother of the Canadian mutiny author Herman Wouk. The late Victor Wouk was born in 1919 in New York City, formed his first company in 1946, and grew into the largest maker of high-voltage power supplies. He formed other companies and developed a passion for electric vehicles. Wouk realized in the 1960s that batteries lacked the necessary speed and range for commercial viability. That decade, he hit on a solution. Combine the low emissions of an electric motor with the power and range of a gasoline engine. Wouk credits the idea to American engineer H. Piper, who filed a patent in 1905 for a combined electric and gasoline motor to improve early motor vehicle performance. A few production models were made, including a 1916 Woods dual-power gasoline and electric model in the collection of the Henry Ford in Dearborn. While Wouk was criticized for rejecting the all-electric vehicle, his hybrid idea certainly reduced emissions. In 1970, the Clean Air Act required automakers to reduce automotive emissions 95% by 1976. That year, the federal Clean Car Incentive Program was started. Wouk teamed with a colleague, Charlie Rosen, to develop a prototype. They decided to use the Skylark provided by General Motors and likely built in Flint, as there was plenty of room under the hood for additional equipment, namely 8 heavy-duty police car batteries, a 20-kilowatt DC electric motor, and a Mazda RX-2 rotary engine. In 1974, the prototype was tested at the EPA's emissions testing laboratories in Ann Arbor. Even though the vehicle was optimized for low pollution emissions rather than for a high fuel economy, it got 30 miles per gallon, more than twice the fuel economy before it was converted. Exhaust emissions were only 9% of those from a typical car from that era, and easily met the 1976 requirements. Detroit's production offerings didn't get there until 1986. Despite the glowing data, an EPA administrator in charge of motor vehicle registration named Eric Stork rejected the results and canceled the project. Stork, who headed the EPA's Mobile Source Air Pollution Control Program, opposed hybrids from the beginning, believing the technology wasn't practical for cars. The project was dead, but Wouk continued to promote the idea in speeches and journals for the next 30 years and pitched the concept to Detroit automakers. He wrote an article on hybrid electric vehicles in the October 1997 issue of Scientific American magazine. Meanwhile, more Darth Vader music, Japanese automakers got interested. In 1997, the Toyota Prius became the first hybrid car to become commercially available when it was introduced in Japan. The Prius was introduced in the United States in August 2000 as a 2001 model. Among the first people to obtain one was Wouk, who leased the car and proudly drove her around feeling vindicated. When Wouk died of cancer in his Manhattan home in 2005 at age 86, obituaries hailed him as an early developer of hybrid car technology and called him either the grandfather or the godfather of the hybrid electric car. Now here's the local connection from Kettering University. The Prius was Japanese, sure, but it did have some local ancestry. One of the engineers behind the success was a 1970 graduate of General Motors Institute, now Kettering University. David Hermance became the foremost American expert on hybrid electric vehicles. He was killed in a plane crash in 2006 at age 59 and was posthumously awarded an honorary doctorate of engineering degree by Kettering. Kettering now is active in teaching hybrid vehicle technology. In 2006, Ford donated 2 Escape hybrid sport utility vehicles for teaching and research. Kettering partnered with Michigan State University and the Mass Transportation Authority in 2007 to put 5 MTA hybrid electric diesel-powered minibuses on the road. Kettering professors James Gover and Juan Pimentel are active in hybrid research and teaching. Pimentel had his own experience with the U.S. government's disinterest in electric vehicle development. In 2003, in response to a U.S. government call for proposals for international cooperation, Pimentel, this is quote, assembled a top-notch team of international experts and prepared a project to develop a prototype powertrain for an electric vehicle, Pimentel said. Unfortunately, the project was not funded. Now that Detroit automakers are making serious moves towards alternative fuel vehicles such as the Chevrolet Volt, the pioneering work of Wouk more than 30 years ago suggests things would be different today had the EPA not killed hybrid vehicle research in 1974. Quote, there aren't enough people knowledgeable enough in Washington with the vision to fund projects crucial to the industrial interests of the U.S. such as hybrids or electric vehicles that should have been funded 30, 20, 10 years ago, Pimentel said. And that's my piece. Thank you very much.
All right, let's keep it going for Gary Flynn.